Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. When we say we work, when he says we work a lot, we receive a lot of money from the European Commission. No, I'm joking. The work goes way beyond the funding. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to see here so many Earth observation enthusiasts. We are in an era of backlash. In most of the meeting I go, it's like, whoa, we have backlash. Now the environment is not the priority. What can you do about this? But in this assembly, I think we have the people who can fight against this backlash. Because you are at the source of all the activities on the environment, observing the Earth, providing the data required for the policy. And we all know that it's not because apparently the Green Deal is not on the headlines of the policy nowadays that the problem has disappeared. The Green Deal is an implementation phase, and President Ursula von der Leyen repeats this on and on. But some do only remember that we have to address in the current of this Commission two major issues and challenges: competitiveness and sustainability. And one cannot cut the sentence after the word competitiveness. But you, because of your economic activities, in a field that is absolutely instrumental for environmental policy and for policy in general, you can bridge these two aspects, competitiveness and sustainability. So please be good ambassadors of this. Don't bow to the simplistic messages saying it's all about competitiveness and the environment can be forgotten. This is a caricature, ridiculous. We all know we may have a very hot summer. It started already in some parts of Europe. And people will be reminded that the environment needs to be taken care of. So this is enough. I think you're a converted audience. I don't need to go further, but I just wanted to describe why, in which context we currently operate. And I will deliver my message that are probably not news to you, but useful reminder first. So I saw the program, very interesting 2 days. And what I wish to say here is to pass a few messages on the activities in Horizon Europe, of course, talk a little bit about the EU mission on adaptation to climate change, on which I work as well. So regarding Horizon Europe work program, the European adopted the work program last month. And Horizon is and remains our power horse to support EO and EO ecosystem, which includes the private sector. And the private sector is very important also for the reasons I described just before. As usual, you will find, and I'm sure your association has informed you on the opportunities in the various pillars and clusters of this new work program. And I really encourage you to look at all the relevant components of Horizon Europe. Not only the usual one, Cluster 6, I will talk about Cluster 6 or Cluster 5, but activities relevant to EO appear in most parts of Horizon Europe. So, the core is in Cluster 6. There's a call called Delivering Earth Intelligence to Accelerate the Green and Digital Transition. It's an innovative action with a substantial budget of 15 million euros. And the proposals are expected to be submitted by the 24th of September, so I wish you a very good summer. It will be hot, so you can be inside to prepare your proposal. So while the civil servants are on holidays, the others have to prepare their proposals. This action is an application-oriented initiative responding to the GEO new strategy for developing Earth intelligence for all. Within the group of Earth Observation, GEO, and its work program. That was adopted in Rome at the occasion of the GEO Global Forum last month. I suppose you followed this. And as I say, we are in a period of backlash, and we are also in a period where some key actors on Earth observations are disinvesting or even denying the environmental problems. So that is an opportunity for us. So it's really time to step up and show that Europe can do the job. And we will use simplistic formula like some do on the other side of the Atlantic, but we will get real business out of it. And it should be better known. Each time when I look for a relevant initiative, I find first US initiatives, and then we find a European initiative very relevant by small companies, extremely good. These need to be better known, but I'm sure that your association is contributing to that, and this will be the case even further in the coming years. So the proposals that you may prepare should help to accelerate the green and digital transition of economic sector through the development of end-user applications and decision support systems for operationalization or commercialization by public or private service providers. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are changing the way we use and process EO data already significantly. This we all know, but at least now everybody understood that AI can be very fun, but not only AI. Now I see also, again, a simplification is that people think that all the research will go to AI. No, we need to use, of course, the usual techniques plus AI to enhance the capacities. So we would like to encourage you to team up with leading European researchers and seize the opportunity these technologies offer, in particular to customize EO output for users. You may look at well as the first topic of the work program 2025 for the EU mission on adaptation to climate change. It's called supporting regions and local authorities in assessing climate risks. So this is in different part of the work program, but I'm sure that our very good search engine will lead to that on the funding and tenders portal. No, I'm joking. The search engine is not very good. But I'm sure that if you go to Mistral, I'm not using ChatGPT or Meta, I hope Mistral will find it. Clearly, that is another, through the mission, you have other opportunities to imagine EO-derived solutions to improve exposure or vulnerability mapping, exploiting digital technologies such as AI. In 6 months from now, there will be additional opportunities with the last work program of Horizon Europe covering the years 26 and 2027. So now about the future of the Research Innovation Framework Program. There will be a future. That's a good news already, because we never know. The pressure on the European budget is very high, and there are other priorities. So despite some uncertainties over the past months on the future of the framework program, our President, Mrs. von der Leyen, confirmed at the annual EU Budget Conference 2025 that, and I quote her, our framework program Horizon Europe will stay as a self-standing program. It is an outstanding brand, the most renowned research program worldwide, but it will be tightly connected to our competitiveness fund. We need a seamless flow from fundamental research to applied research to startups and scale-ups. Horizon Europe has financed groundbreaking research that has won 33 Nobel Prizes over the last 40 years. We want this success story to continue. Okay, who can disagree with that? Nobody, of course. The seamless flow from fundamental research to applied research is really a strong objective. And we all know that downstream from Horizon Europe, we still have great difficulties, and we need to improve on that. And that's why we have the mission on adaptation to climate change. We have other missions that are also relevant and very relevant to Earth observation. And I encourage you to look at the different initiatives through the innovation value chain, rather than looking only at one segment of the program, because it's a chain. So, we should get further clarification next month with the Commission proposal for the next multi-annual financial framework, in particular its competitiveness fund and how it can support the investment journey from research to scale-ups, industrial deployment to manufacturing. I'm sure that you're all informed of the scale-up and startup scale-up plan, the water resilience initiative, the Ocean Pact, and other recent Commission initiatives. I'm sure your association is informing you on all this. There are many opportunities. And if those can show that they contribute to EU competitiveness, you will be supported. That's quite clear. So the Earth observation awareness is increasing. That's good. It's about time. 3 weeks ago, the Council of the European Union called for a better use of space data to enhance crisis management. The conclusions underline the importance of Earth observation and other space data for resilience and crisis preparedness, They underline the need for enhanced cooperation and use of all available satellite data, public, private, and commercial, to better address climate change, disasters, and crises impacting European and global security. Okay, it seems, okay, obvious to you, but this is a constant exercise when we want to secure research funding, when we want to increase or launch new activities, is that why? How does it serve society? This connection to society is essential. So when you make your proposal, please refer to that, because this is absolutely indispensable. This was just an example of increasing acknowledgement of the potential of space data to address the challenges we are facing. Similarly, the water resilience strategy that I mentioned, announced last week, they propose like a single entity called One-Stop Shop, but we have so many one-stop shops, I wonder whether it's still clear, but at least to group Earth observation products relevant to water management, to make managing water from space easily accessible to everyone. And water is a priority, and it's quite convenient, because if the word climate is difficult to use, we can use water. Anyway, the interlinkages between climate, biodiversity, and water are quite numerous. Not sufficient, but numerous. In less than 2 weeks, the Commission will adopt its strategy on space data economy and the EU Space Act, two key milestones that can be understood as a response to signals of concerns raised by the Draghi report. The space data economy will help boosting the EU space economy with a view to position the EU as a leader in the global space economy by 2050. The EU Space Act is expected to provide a common regulatory framework enhancing the competitiveness of the Union space industry for the establishment and functioning of the internal market of space-based data and space services. This means a better legal framework to operate, and a renewed engagement, as repeated in Rome during the Geo Global Forum, to promote international cooperation, increase the visibility of our European assets, and keep the community adhering to Eurogeo. About Eurogeo, let me remind you that our next workshop will be in The Hague in October 13 to 15. Welcome to The Hague at this occasion. New resources made available, improved legal framework, competitiveness compass, startup strategy, I mentioned, EU single market for space, references to space program in key thematic initiative, encouragements for dual use developments. The question is now how to make sure the private sector benefits from those positive changes, and what are the remaining challenges, obstacles that we should look at. Let's take the example of the EU mission on adaptation to climate change. I mentioned already the 2025 Horizon Europe goals from the mission. Those are relevant to your community, but I would like to also consider the following points. With the launch of the EU mission on adaptation, that was in 2021, the first project actually started in early 2023, I think only. The Commission committed to supporting at least 150 regions and local authorities in preparing for the realities of climate change by 2030. Why do we focus so strongly on regions and local actors? You will have a session this afternoon on this, so it's directly relevant. Because this is where change truly happens, and where we need to see the change happening, based on research and innovation outputs. This is the mere reason of the mission. Why we didn't create the mission just to have a new word. The mission is meant to go beyond what research and innovation can do alone. You all know that in research and innovation programs, we can only fund up to a certain level of technology readiness level. Beyond, the magic wand of the market should operate, but it does not operate. It's more complex than that. So something needs to be done to make sure that the solutions are being deployed. And those who need these solutions are the local and regional actors. So these solutions need to be ready, deployable, understood by the local actors, and affordable to them. So quite a challenge. This is what the mission tries to do. So the EU policy on adaptation, of course, is developed with the member states, but the implementation happens locally in municipalities, cities, and regions. And adaptation must be rooted in local realities, because the risks, of course, and vulnerabilities vary widely across Europe. That's why the mission avoids the one-size-fits-all model. Instead, we offer a flexible ecosystem of services, tools, and opportunities to support each region's journey towards resilience. The review of the mission done in July 2023 assessed their progress and highlighted both the success and the areas for improvement. And we were not shy in this communication. I remember vividly that the Commission is quite rare that in a communication of the Commission, some improvements are acknowledged. And the difficulty we have is to combine EU funding from the research program with other funding schemes, be it funding scheme through regional policy or national funding scheme, because that is very complex for the local authorities and for us. The assessment at that time of the review of the mission focused on factors like selection process, governance structure, funding, and progress towards achieving mission goals. Yes, the EC proposed strengthening coordination between mission representatives and national, regional, and local authorities, as well as engaging citizens and private actors. And that's where you play a role more actively. The problem is, I've been working on this activity since a few years. The problem is not the availability of money, it's the access to the money. And to combine different funding schemes, and to make sure that the companies are seizing the opportunities. In particular, also with banks, the issue of resilience, measuring resilience, progress in resilience is a very difficult issue. Every bank understands that you can make money with renewable energy. The cost went down dramatically, you get a revenue from selling the energy, it's clear. How do you make a business out of resilience? Complex issue, but you can contribute to this and show that you have your space, I could say, in the, I need to go on, I see your body language. I can go on forever, so don't worry, I'm not Fidel Castro staying 4 hours here. So, we have now 326 regions and local authorities having signed our charter, and we have a very good number of active regions deploying solutions, deploying nature-based solutions on their territory, and this is very encouraging news. This now starts to deliver. It took time, like all research projects, but it delivers. So the knowledge sharing is also very important in the mission, and we believe that, of course, Horizon Europe is instrumental to this, but we need relays in other parts of EU funding schemes and also national. So I'm just ready to conclude then you will be very happy, because I would like to call you again to participate in the mission, participate to the calls of Horizon, be it in the mission or in the normal calls, and look beyond your usual area. For your company, for others. Try to relate to other partners, and the local authorities, I can testify, are really, they need to be supported, assisted, and if they understand who can offer the service and where they could get the money, they will deploy the activities, and you can be part of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.